Hello children, welcome to 8th Chemistry online classes. So our chapter Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. So in this chapter we learned physical properties of metals and non-metals that we already discussed. And next we started chemical properties of metals and non-metals, and we studied the chemical properties of metals and non-metals with oxygen and water. Hope all of you remember that chemical properties. And today we are going to study the chemical properties of metals and non-metals with acid and base. Let us start. Chemical properties of metals and non-metals. The first, reaction of metals with acids. So acids and bases that you already studied in 7th standard. Acid is a chemical substance and it has sour taste. Remember that? And what about the base? Base is also a chemical substance and it has bitter taste and soapy texture. Okay. And we studied that many acids are present in our fruits like citric acid in citrus or lemon and lactic acid in curd. Okay. That is different kinds of acids. That is natural acids. And some other acid like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, they are called mineral acids. That everything you will learn in higher classes, but I just say this. And that acids are very strong. These mineral acids like hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid, nitric acid, such acids are very strong. Or we can call it as they are concentrated acids. So that concentrated acids are very dangerous. You heard that acid attack like that. So that they are highly corrosive in nature and they are very strong. So that such concentrated acids are not react with metals. Okay. So here, which acid react with metal? Dilute acids. That word, I don't know, you heard this word before. Okay, anyway, metals react with dilute acids to form their salt and liberate hydrogen gas. So I told you, concentrated acid like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, they are very strong. So they are called concentrated. So when this acid pour into water, okay, and we can dilute it. So when we dilute, we get that concentration level is decreased and it's not much corrosive or not much strong. So that process is called dilute, and that acids are called dilute acids. So these metals react with dilute acids to form their salt and liberate hydrogen gas. So I wrote here that equation. Just study this only because many things you have to study, but no need to study in this class. That is you will learn in higher classes. Now you just see metals plus acid gives salt plus hydrogen gas. And what is the salt that we will learn because our chapter okay, we already you studied the salt in 7th standard or chapter acids, bases and salts. So that is that salt. Okay, and just see that metal plus acid gives salt and hydrogen gas. So this is the important thing. Metals react with acid to form hydrogen gas. See, The evolution of hydrogen gas can be tested by bringing a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. So this when metal react with acid to form one gas. So but we don't know that is which gas. So to find the presence of hydrogen gas, we can do one test. What is that test? So here, this picture, you just see, this is the test tube. Okay, and this test tube, some one higher gas is coming outside. One gas is coming outside. So that time, we just bring a splinter, burning splinter or a matchstick, burning matchstick near to uh, this mouth of this test tube. You can hear one pop sound, and this matchstick or that bird or that fire put off, and you can hear that sound, pop sound. So by hearing the pop sound, you can tell that that gas is hydrogen gas. So that is the test of identify hydrogen gas. So how you can identify hydrogen gas? Hydrogen gas is evolved from a test tube, and we just bring a burning splinter or burning matchstick near to the mouth of the test tube. You can that fire put off, and you can hear one pop sound. So that is the presence of hydrogen gas. So that is the reaction of metal with acid. But all metals are not react with acid, and all acid not react with metal. Okay, that part you don't go now. Just understand this only. Metal react with acid to form salt and hydrogen gas. And we see some examples also. In your textbook, page number 49. So all of you take your textbook now and open the page number 49. You can see one table. Okay, so that table here metal or non-metal like that. Okay, here I wrote here metal. So magnesium ribbon. So magnesium is a metal. And you studied that magnesium react with oxygen, magnesium react with water. You learned that thing. So magnesium is a metal. And reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid. So the magnesium react with dilute hydrochloric acid, what will happen? And next step, you say magnesium react with the dilute sulfuric acid. That time, what is the reaction? We will see that. So first, magnesium in room temperature. Room temperature means our, now this is the room temperature. Okay. So that room temperature, magnesium react with hydrochloric acid. So how we do that test? We take one test tube and fill or add little amount of hydrochloric acid and put a small piece of magnesium ribbon into it. So you can watch it, that reaction of magnesium and hydrochloric acid. You can see the bubbles are coming outside. So that bubbles actually what? That is the gas. Which gas? Hydrogen gas. Okay. So magnesium react with hydrochloric acid to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. So here magnesium chloride is the salt. So you can write this thing in your that table, but no need to by heart that thing. You just understand magnesium react with hydrochloric acid to form magnesium chloride. Okay, magnesium here hydrochloric acid, here this chloride. So magnesium chloride. So which part is out? This hydrogen. So hydrogen is out. Okay. So magnesium react with hydrochloric acid to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. So this magnesium chloride is the salt. Got it, children? And when we warm condition or we just warm or just heat this hydrochloric acid. Okay, just heat hydrochloric acid and add magnesium piece. Same magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. But that reaction is little more speed. Okay, that reaction rate is increased because we are adding that heat hydro or warm hydrochloric acid. Okay, so we increase the temperature, that is why the reaction rate is also increased. So here also magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. And the next step, the same magnesium ribbon react with the dilute sulfuric acid. That is a different kind of acid, sulfuric acid. So here also magnesium react with the dilute sulfuric acid to form magnesium sulfate and hydrogen. So here also hydrogen gas. Salt is magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas. And magnesium react with sulfuric acid. Which sulfuric acid? Warm sulfuric acid. That time also magnesium sulfate and hydrogen, but that reaction rate is increased because we add warm sulfuric acid. Okay, so you got here magnesium sulfate, that is the salt, and hydrogen gas. So children, you just understand this thing. Metal react with acid. Here hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. Many other acids also there. That reaction is different. So no need to go that far. Only dilute hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid. This metal to form salt and hydrogen gas. So that is the important thing. Evolve hydrogen gas. And when we are taking aluminium foil, aluminium is a metal and a small piece of aluminium foil, and we just take one test tube, add hydrochloric acid, and we put some small piece of aluminium foil into it. You can see the bubbles come out, and that bubbles are the presence of one gas. Which gas? Hydrogen gas. And how you can know the presence of hydrogen? By bringing a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. You can hear that pops out and that fire put off. That because of the presence of hydrogen gas. Okay, so here aluminium plus hydrochloric acid, aluminium chloride, here magnesium chloride, and here aluminium chloride and hydrogen gas. And here warm condition, aluminium react with hydrochloric acid to form aluminium chloride and hydrogen gas. Same thing, same salt and hydrogen gas. And reaction with dilute sulfuric acid, aluminium react with sulfuric acid to form aluminium sulfate and hydrogen gas. And in the warm condition also aluminium sulfate and hydrogen gas. So here also understand one thing, metal react with acid to form salt and hydrogen gas. Next metal is iron filings. Iron filings means small pieces of iron, that is called not a powder form, a small pieces, bit of iron. So that is called iron filings. So here just dilute hydrochloric acid. Iron does not react with hydrochloric acid at room temperature. So in the room temperature, iron not react with dilute hydrochloric acid. And in the warm condition, or when we heat this hydrochloric acid, the warm hydrochloric acid, iron react to form iron chloride and hydrogen. So there iron salt and hydrogen, but in the room temperature iron does not react. And what about the dilute sulfuric acid? Iron react with sulfuric acid to form nothing, no reaction, because in the room temperature iron does not react with dilute sulfuric acid, but in the warm condition iron react with dilute sulfuric acid to form ferrous sulfate and hydrogen. So these things you no need to by heart, but write this thing in your that table. Okay, so when you are reading the textbook, just see to it. So you can remember that which are the salt and which gas is evolved. Okay, and next metal is copper, field flexible wire. So inside the wire you can see the copper. So just take a small piece of copper and take a dilute hydrochloric acid in a test tube and add a small piece of copper. So, room temperature copper does not react with hydrochloric acid, and warm condition also copper does not react with hydrochloric acid. And what about sulfuric acid? Copper does not react with dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, and here in the warm condition, copper react with sulfuric acid to form copper sulfate and sulfur dioxide and water. So here hydrogen gas is not involved. So here copper. Okay, the copper is actually it is a metal, but it is not react with these acids. Okay, only with the sulfuric acid, warm condition. Okay, so that is the thing. So that you have to write in your table. And in your table, two more things that are charcoal and sulfur. And charcoal and sulfur. Charcoal means what? That is carbon. That is a non-metal. And sulfur is also a non-metal. So now we see what is the reaction of this this acid with these non-metals. Okay, reaction of non-metals with acids. Generally, non-metals do not react with acid. If you take one carbon piece or coal piece and put into acid, nothing will happen because that is a non-metal. Charcoal is a non-metal, and that non-metal do not react with acid. Okay, so that is the reaction of non-metal with acid. Generally, non-metals do not react with acids. Next is reaction of metals and non-metals with bases. So bases means you already studied in 7th standard, bitter in taste, soapy texture. Examples: baking soda, sodium hydroxide. You remember that are the bases. And the reaction of metals and non-metals with bases. We'll see. Same like acids. Metals react with bases to produce hydrogen gas. We studied that metal react with acid to form salt and hydrogen gas. Here also same thing. Metals react with bases to produce hydrogen gas. Okay, but all metals are not react with bases, and all bases are not react with metal. Okay, that is another thing. But generally, you can tell like this: metals react with bases to produce hydrogen gas. And what about non-metal? Reaction of non-metal with acids. Generally, non-metals do not react with acids. So same way, reaction of non-metals with bases are complex. Some reactions are there, but they are with complex reactions. Okay, so these are the things today we studied: the reaction of metals and non-metals with acids and bases. So that as reaction of metal with acid, that is the important part, and hydrogen gas is evolved, and you studied some reactions, and that reactions you just write in your table in your textbook. So up to this we took for our exam. These are the portions up to this. So all of you study and watch the video. So then directly go and read the textbook. Many confusions are there. So first you watch the video, at the same time just see the textbook also. Okay children. Okay, so thank you. All the best.